Most people don't realize this, but the next 2 years are going to quietly change who gets rich and who stays stuck. Not because of luck, not because of talent, but because of timing. In 2026, the biggest advantage won't be money, connections, or even experience. The biggest advantage will be starting the right kind of business, while everyone else is still confused, distracted, or scared. And here's the scary part. By the time most people realize which businesses actually work in 2026, it will already be too late to get in early. So if you've ever felt like you missed Bitcoin, missed Amazon, missed YouTube, or missed real estate at the right time, this video might be the one chance you don't want to skip. Before we go any further, let me be very honest with you. This is not one of those fake, get-rich-quick videos. I'm not going to promise you millions overnight or sell you dreams that only work on paper. What I am going to do is walk you through how real money is going to be made in 2026, based on how people are behaving, where companies are spending, and what problems are growing right now. If you stay until the end, you'll not only understand which business ideas actually make sense, but you'll also understand why they work and how normal people are quietly building income from them. And real quick, if you want more honest conversations about money, business, and the reality behind financial success, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Money Spectrum. It really helps the channel grow, and it tells the algorithm that this content is worth sharing. Alright, let's get into it. Here's something most people don't talk about. Every successful business starts with a shift in human behavior. Not technology. Not trends, behavior. People are changing how they live, how they work, how they spend, and how they think about money. And 2026 is going to amplify those changes. Remote work isn't going away. AI isn't slowing down. Attention spans are getting shorter. Trust in big corporations is declining. And people are paying more than ever for convenience, speed, personalization, and peace of mind. That's where the real opportunities are. One of the smartest business ideas for 2026 is building services around people who don't want to deal with complexity anymore. Think about it. Life is more complicated than ever. Apps, subscriptions, passwords, platforms, algorithms, taxes, digital tools, and constant updates. Most people are overwhelmed. They don't want more options. They want someone to simplify things for them. Businesses that remove friction will win. This is why niche service businesses are quietly exploding. Not flashy startups. Not billion-dollar unicorns. Small focused services solving one painful problem for one specific type of customer. In 2026, generalists will struggle, but specialists will thrive. Someone who helps local businesses manage AI tools. Someone who sets up automation for online sellers. Someone who handles content repurposing for busy professionals. These businesses don't sound sexy, but they make consistent money because they save time and reduce stress. Now here's where most people mess up. They think they need to invent something new. You don't. The money is not in creating new problems. The money is in solving existing problems better, faster, or cheaper. Look around you. What are people complaining about every day? What do they keep postponing because it feels annoying or confusing? That's where business ideas are hiding. Another powerful business idea for 2026 is personal brand monetization. Even if you don't think you're famous, in the past, only celebrities made money from attention. Today, normal people with small but loyal audiences are building serious income. The key difference in 2026 is that trust will matter more than reach. People don't want influencers. They want relatable experts. They want someone who feels real. This is why niche content creators are winning. A person who talks only about budgeting for families. Someone who focuses only on side hustles for truck drivers. Someone who explains investing in simple language for beginners. These creators aren't trying to go viral. They're building authority. And authority turns into courses, consulting, newsletters, digital products, and brand deals. Money Spectrum itself is an example of how financial content can educate while building long-term value. The goal isn't quick views. It's trust over time. Let's talk about AI for a moment because a lot of people are scared of it. They think AI will replace jobs and destroy opportunities. The truth is more nuanced. AI will replace people who refuse to adapt, but it will massively reward people who learn how to use it. In 2026, one of the best business ideas is being the bridge between AI and normal people. Most business owners don't understand AI tools. They don't know which ones to use, how to set them up, or how to integrate them into daily operations. If you can learn these tools and offer them as a service, you're extremely valuable. This could be AI chatbots for customer support, automated marketing systems, content generation workflows, or data analysis for small businesses. You don't need to be a programmer. You need to understand problems and solutions. And here's something interesting. Businesses don't mind paying monthly retainers if you consistently save them money or time. That's recurring income. That's stability. That's the kind of business that grows quietly while others chase hype. Another underrated opportunity in 2026 is education-based businesses, not traditional schools, but practical learning. People don't want degrees anymore. They want skills that pay. Short courses, coaching programs, and workshops focused on real-world outcomes are in high demand. The key is specificity. Learn marketing is too broad. Learn how to get your first 10 clients as a freelance video editor is powerful. If you've learned something the hard way, chances are someone else is willing to pay to learn it faster. Experience is monetizable. And in 2026, packaging experience into simple, actionable formats is a business in itself. Let's shift gears and talk about e-commerce because a lot of people think it's dead. It's not, it's just evolving. The area of random dropshipping stores is fading, but brand-focused e-commerce is growing. People care about quality, story, and reliability. In 2026, businesses that combine products with content will outperform those that only sell products. Imagine selling fitness equipment while also educating people about workouts. Or selling eco-friendly home products while teaching sustainable living. Content builds trust. Trust drives sales. This is why creators who launch products are more successful than companies that just run ads. Another major opportunity lies in local businesses going digital. Many local service providers still have weak online presence. Bad websites, no automation, no systems. If you can help local businesses modernize, you have endless opportunities. Website optimization, online booking systems, review management, and local SEO are boring topics, but boring businesses often make the most money. Now let me tell you something most gurus won't admit. The best business idea is not always the one with the highest upside. Sometimes it's the one you can actually execute. Execution beats ideas every time. In 2026, consistency will matter more than creativity. Showing up every day, improving systems, listening to customers, and adapting fast will separate winners from dreamers. This is why service-based businesses are still one of the safest options. Low startup costs, fast feedback, real customers. You don't need investors. You don't need perfection. You need clients. And clients care about results, not fancy branding. Before we continue, let me say this. If this video is already helping you think differently about business, drop a quick like. It really supports Money Spectrum and helps more people see content like this. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention. Aging populations. In the US and many other countries, the population is getting older. Older people have money, but they value convenience and trust. Businesses that serve this demographic are growing fast. Health support services, home assistance, digital literacy training, and lifestyle management are huge opportunities. At the same time, younger generations value flexibility and meaning. They want businesses that align with their values. Sustainability, transparency, and ethical practices matter. Businesses that ignore this will struggle to connect emotionally with customers. Subscription-based models are another strong trend for 2026. Predictable revenue is powerful. Whether it's information, software, physical products, or services, subscriptions create long-term relationships. The key is delivering consistent value so people don't cancel. This forces businesses to think long-term instead of chasing quick sales. Now here's where everything connects. The best businesses in 2026 will sit at the intersection of technology, trust, and human needs. Not pure tech, not pure hustle, but balanced solutions that make life easier. And this brings us to mindset. Many people ask, which business idea is best? That's the wrong question. The right question is, which business idea fits my skills, my resources, and my willingness to stay consistent for years? Because real success doesn't come from jumping ideas. It comes from commitment. By the end of this video series, you won't just have business ideas. You'll have a framework to evaluate opportunities. You'll see why some people succeed quietly while others stay loud but broke. We're just getting started. Most people think business success comes from one big smart move, one perfect idea, one lucky break. But in reality, successful people in 2026 are doing something very different. They're stacking small, boring advantages on top of each other until momentum becomes unstoppable. And this is exactly why so many people fail even when they start a good business. They focus on the idea, but they ignore the system. In 2026, the real winners will be system builders, people who design businesses that can run even when motivation is low, because motivation fades, but systems stay. This is especially important now, when attention is constantly pulled in 100 directions. If your business requires you to feel inspired every single day, it will eventually collapse. But if your business runs on clear processes, automation, and repeatable actions, it can survive bad days and still grow. This is where a lot of smart business ideas quietly outperform flashy ones. For example, think about content-based businesses. Many people believe content is about creativity. In reality, content is about consistency and distribution. In 2026, the smartest creators won't be the most talented ones. They'll be the ones who turn one idea into multiple formats across platforms. One long video becomes short clips, posts, emails, and even products. This is not about working harder. It's about working once and leveraging it many times. This is why businesses that help with content repurposing, distribution, and audience growth are in demand. Business owners know they need to be visible, but they don't have time. If you can take content off their plate and turn it into results, you become essential. Essential businesses are hard to replace even by AI. Speaking of AI, let's talk about a big misconception. AI doesn't remove human value. It changes where human value sits. In 2026, the most valuable skill won't be knowing how to use one specific tool. Tools change too fast. The valuable skill will be understanding how to combine tools into outcomes. Business owners don't care which software you use. They care about leads, sales, and save time. So one of the strongest business ideas is outcome-based services. Instead of selling hours, you sell results. Instead of saying, I manage ads, you say, I bring qualified leads. Instead of I do bookkeeping, you say, I help you understand your cash flow so you can sleep better at night. Language matters. Positioning matters. In 2026, businesses that communicate value clearly will dominate those that hide behind technical jargon. Another major shift happening is the trust economy. People are more skeptical than ever. Ads don't work like they used to. Influencers are losing credibility. Reviews, word of mouth, and authenticity are becoming powerful again. This is why community-driven businesses are growing. Private groups, paid communities, masterminds, and membership platforms are becoming real businesses. People don't just want information, they want belonging. They want to feel like they're not alone in their journey. If you can create a space where people feel understood and supported, monetization becomes natural. This could be a community for new entrepreneurs, freelancers, investors, or even people trying to get out of debt. The value is not just in what you teach, but in who you connect. Money Spectrum focuses heavily on this idea of clarity and honesty, because people are tired of fake success stories. They want real conversations about money. That's why transparency-based brands will win in 2026. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable. Many people want to start a business, but deep down they're afraid of responsibility. A business forces you to face your weaknesses. Poor communication, bad discipline, fear of rejection. In 2026, the market will punish excuses faster than ever. Competition is global. If you don't show up, someone else will. This is why personal development is not optional for entrepreneurs. Businesses don't fail because of lack of ideas. They fail because founders quit too early. The ability to handle uncertainty is a competitive advantage. And here's the good news. This skill can be trained. One powerful business model for 2026 revolves around helping people navigate uncertainty. Coaching, mentoring, accountability services, and structured programs are growing because people feel lost. But this only works if it's grounded in real experience, not motivational quotes. Let's shift into finance-focused opportunities. Financial anxiety is increasing. Inflation, layoffs, rising costs, and unstable markets are making people nervous. Businesses that offer clarity around money are in high demand. Budgeting tools, financial education, tax optimization, and cash flow planning are becoming essential services, not luxuries. But here's the key. People don't want complicated financial language. They want simple explanations and practical steps. If you can break down complex topics into clear actions, you have a powerful business. This could be through content, consulting, digital products, or software. Simplicity is a selling point. Another underrated opportunity is helping people manage subscriptions and expenses. It sounds small, but it's a real pain point. People are losing money without realizing it. Services that audit expenses, optimize spending, or negotiate bills are quietly growing. These businesses don't go viral, but they generate steady income. Let's also talk about the rise of solopreneurs. In 2026, more people will choose independence over corporate careers. But most solopreneurs struggle with structure. They don't know how to price, how to sell, or how to manage time. Businesses that provide frameworks, templates, and systems for solopreneurs are valuable. This could be project management systems, sales scripts, onboarding processes, or financial tracking tools. Again, boring on the surface, powerful in reality. Another area that's growing is wellness, but not in the traditional sense. In 2026, wellness is less about trends and more about sustainability. Mental clarity, stress reduction, and work-life balance are becoming business priorities. Companies are investing in employee well-being because burnout is expensive. Services that support this, whether through coaching, tools, or programs, are gaining traction. But authenticity matters. People can tell when something is fake. Now let's zoom out for a moment. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to build everything at once. In 2026, focus will beat ambition. Start small. Validate fast, improve continuously. The businesses that survive are the ones that listen to customers and adapt. This is where data comes in. Businesses that track performance make better decisions. You don't need complex analytics. You need clarity. Knowing where leads come from, what converts, and what doesn't is enough. Businesses that ignore data operate on hope. Hope is not a strategy. Before moving forward, let me say this. If you're watching this and thinking, this makes sense, but I don't know where to start, you're not alone. Everyone starts confused. The difference is whether you stay confused or take action. And if this content is helping you see business differently, don't forget to support the channel. A simple like helps Money Spectrum reach more people who need clarity around money and business. As we move forward, the next part is where things get more practical. We'll talk about how to choose the right idea, how to avoid common traps, and how to think long-term in a world that rewards patience less and less. Because in 2026, the biggest edge won't be speed. It will be direction. At some point, every serious person hits this question. How do I actually choose one business idea and stick to it? Because ideas are everywhere. Videos, posts, threads, opinions. Everyone sounds confident, everyone claims their way is the best. And this is where most people get stuck forever. They keep learning, but they never build. In 2026, information will not be the problem. Action will be. The gap between people who know and people who earn will grow wider. That's why choosing the right idea is not about excitement. It's about alignment. Alignment between what the market wants, what you can realistically offer, and what you can repeat even on days when you don't feel like it. Here's a simple truth. The best business idea is the one you can execute consistently for the next 3 to 5 years. Not 3 weeks. Not 3 months, years. Most people underestimate how long real success takes, and they overestimate how fast results should come. In 2026, patience itself will be a competitive advantage. One of the biggest traps people fall into is building a business around motivation instead of discipline. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. Discipline is structural. It's boring, but it works. This is why process-driven businesses outperform passion-driven ones in the long run. Passion helps you start. Process helps you survive. Another major trap is copying someone else's success without understanding the context. You see someone winning with a certain model and assume it will work the same way for you. But you don't see their timing, their audience, their network, or their failures. In 2026, copying surface-level strategies will be dangerous because markets move fast. What works today might be saturated tomorrow. Instead of copying outcomes, copy thinking. Ask why something works. Ask what problem it solves. Ask who pays for it and why. When you understand the logic, you can adapt the model instead of blindly following it. Let's talk about execution, because this is where everything becomes real. Execution is not about doing more. It's about doing the right few things repeatedly. In almost every successful business, there are only a handful of actions that actually move the needle. Everything else is noise. For example, in a service business, the needle movers are lead generation, sales conversations, and delivery quality. In a content business, it's content creation, distribution, and audience engagement. In a product business, it's product quality, customer feedback, and repeat purchases. If you focus on these core actions, progress becomes inevitable. But most people avoid these actions because they're uncomfortable. Selling feels awkward. Putting yourself out there feels risky. Asking for feedback feels scary. In 2026, comfort will be expensive. Growth will demand discomfort. This is where mindset meets strategy. You don't need confidence to take action. Confidence comes from taking action. Waiting to feel ready is one of the most expensive mistakes people make. No one feels ready. They start anyway. Another mistake people make is trying to scale too early. They want automation, teams, and systems before they have proven demand. In 2026, lean businesses will have an edge. Businesses that stay small, flexible, and profitable before scaling will survive volatility better. Scale should be a response to demand, not a hope for it. Let's talk about pricing, because this is another area where people struggle. Many beginners underprice because they're afraid to ask for money. They confuse low prices with low risk. But cheap clients are often the hardest to deal with. In 2026, value-based pricing will matter more than ever. People are willing to pay if they understand the value and trust the outcome. This doesn't mean overcharging. It means being clear. Clear about what you offer, who it's for, and what result it delivers. Clarity builds confidence on both sides. Another powerful execution principle is feedback loops. Businesses that listen improve faster. Feedback doesn't just come from surveys. It comes from conversations, objections, cancellations, and questions. Every no contains information. Every complaint is a signal. Most people take feedback personally and quit. Successful business owners treat feedback as data. Emotional detachment is a skill. In 2026, the ability to separate your identity from your business will help you adapt faster. Now let's talk about long-term thinking, because this is where most people lose perspective. Social media makes it seem like everyone is winning overnight, but most success stories are compressed. You see the highlight, not the years of quiet work. In 2026, long-term brands will outperform short-term hustles. This means building reputation, not just revenue. Reputation compounds. Trust compounds. Relationships compound. A good name is an asset. This is why ethical behavior is not just moral, it's strategic. Burning bridges for short-term gains will limit future opportunities. The internet never forgets. In a world where everything is searchable, integrity matters. Money Spectrum emphasizes this idea because financial success without trust is fragile. Sustainable wealth is built on credibility. Another execution principle is focus. Most people try to run 5 ideas at once. They call it diversification, but it's actually distraction. True diversification comes after one thing works. In the beginning, focus creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates opportunities. Let's also talk about energy management. Burnout kills more businesses than competition. In 2026, smart founders will design businesses that support their lives, not consume them. This means setting boundaries, choosing sustainable workloads, and saying no to things that don't align. A business that drains you will eventually fail, no matter how good the idea is. Now let's address fear, because fear shows up at every stage. Fear of starting, fear of failing, fear of being judged. Fear of success. In 2026, fear won't disappear, but successful people will act despite it. One way to manage fear is by lowering the stakes. Instead of thinking this has to work, think this is an experiment. Experiments remove pressure. They encourage learning. Businesses that are built as experiments evolve faster. Another powerful concept is optionality. Businesses that give you options are valuable. Options to pivot, to scale, to sell, or to step back. This is why skill-based businesses are powerful. Skills travel. They adapt. They create leverage. Let's talk about leverage for a moment. There are only a few types. Time, money, technology, and people. Most beginners only use time. They trade hours for dollars. In 2026, smart businesses will use technology as leverage. Automation, tools, and systems allow small teams to do big things, but leverage without direction creates chaos. This is why strategy comes first, tools second. Another overlooked aspect of execution is communication. Clear communication builds trust internally and externally. Whether it's with customers, partners, or yourself, clarity prevents confusion. Confusion kills momentum. As your business grows, your role will change. You'll move from doing everything to deciding what matters. Decision-making is a skill. Good decisions come from clear values and good information. In 2026, people who think well will outperform people who hustle blindly. Let's also talk about financial discipline. Cash flow is the lifeblood of any business. Profit is important, but cash keeps you alive. Many businesses fail while being profitable on paper. In 2026, understanding cash flow basics will be non-negotiable. Track your numbers, know your expenses. Plan for slow months. Financial awareness reduces stress and increases confidence. As we move closer to the end of this part, here's something important to remember. You don't need to build a massive business to win. You need to build a meaningful one. One that pays your bills, gives you freedom, and grows steadily. Comparison is the thief of progress. Focus on your path. If you've made it this far, it tells me you're serious about understanding how business really works. And if this perspective is helping you, take a moment to support the channel. A like and a share help Money Spectrum reach people who are tired of hype and want real guidance. In the next part, we're going to bring everything together. We'll talk about future-proofing your business, adapting to change, and how to stay relevant in a world that doesn't slow down. Because in 2026, the people who win won't be the loudest. They'll be the most consistent. The biggest mistake people make when thinking about the future is assuming it will look like the past. But 2026 will not reward people who cling to old formulas. It will reward people who can adapt without panicking. Adaptability will be more valuable than intelligence. Calm thinking will beat fast reactions. Future-proof businesses are not built by predicting exact trends. They are built by understanding human needs that don't change. People will always want to save time. They will always want to reduce stress. They will always want to feel secure about money. Technology may change how these needs are served, but the needs themselves stay constant. This is why the smartest businesses for 2026 are flexible by design. They don't rely on one platform, one traffic source, or one product. They are built around skills, relationships, and systems. If one channel slows down, another takes over. If one offer stops working, a new one is tested. A future-proof mindset starts with asking better questions. Instead of asking, what's trending right now? Ask, what problems are getting worse? Because growing problems create growing markets. And in 2026, several problems are becoming impossible to ignore. One of them is attention overload. People are overwhelmed by information. Businesses that filter, summarize, and simplify information will be valuable. Curated newsletters, simplified dashboards, decision support tools, and advisory services are growing quietly. People don't want more content. They want clarity. Another growing problem is trust. Deepfake content, AI-generated noise, and fake reviews are eroding confidence. This means real human voices will matter more. Businesses that show real faces, real stories, and real accountability will stand out. In 2026, anonymity will be a disadvantage for most businesses. This is why founder-led brands are powerful. People trust people more than logos. When customers know who you are and what you stand for, loyalty increases. This doesn't mean oversharing. It means being consistent and honest. Money Spectrum follows this approach by focusing on realistic financial conversations instead of hype. That approach builds long-term trust. Another future-proof principle is diversification of income streams, but done correctly. Many people misunderstand diversification. They start too many things too early. True diversification comes from depth first, then expansion, one core business, one clear value proposition, then complementary offers. For example, a service business can later add digital products. A content business can add consulting. A product business can add subscriptions. Each new stream builds on the same audience and trust. This reduces risk instead of increasing complexity. Let's talk about resilience. In 2026, economic uncertainty will still exist. Markets will fluctuate. Policies will change. Businesses that survive will be those with buffers. Financial buffers, emotional buffers, and strategic buffers. Financial buffers mean savings, low fixed costs, and manageable debt. Emotional buffers mean realistic expectations and stress management. Strategic buffers mean having backup plans and optional paths. Many people ignore this because it's not exciting. But boring preparation creates freedom. Freedom to make better decisions under pressure. Another important aspect of future-proofing is learning velocity. Not what you know, but how fast you can learn. The ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn will define success. In 2026, rigid expertise will become fragile. Flexible competence will thrive. This is why businesses that invest in continuous learning stay relevant. This doesn't mean chasing every new tool. It means understanding principles deeply enough to adapt tools easily. Let's talk about customer relationships. In the future, acquisition will get more expensive. Retention will become more important. Businesses that treat customers as long-term partners will outperform those that chase one-time sales. Simple things matter. Clear communication, follow-ups, appreciation, listening. These things don't scale easily, but they build loyalty. Loyalty reduces marketing costs. Reduced costs increase profitability. Now let's address something many people avoid: ethics. In 2026, unethical shortcuts will be exposed faster. Screenshots, recordings, reviews, and social proof make hiding difficult. Businesses built on manipulation will struggle. Transparency will be rewarded. This doesn't mean being perfect. It means being accountable, admitting mistakes, fixing problems. Customers respect honesty more than perfection. Another future-proof strategy is building transferable skills. Skills that can move across industries. Communication, sales, problem-solving, and leadership are timeless. Businesses built on these skills adapt easily. If you ever feel uncertain about which business to start, invest in skills first. Skills reduce risk. They give you options. Let's talk about scale again, but from a future-proof perspective. Bigger is not always better. Many people chase scale without understanding complexity. In 2026, small, profitable, well-run businesses will outperform bloated organizations. Technology allows small teams to operate like big companies. This levels the playing field. But only for those who use technology intentionally, not blindly. Another key concept is signal versus noise. In a world full of opinions, successful people learn to filter. They choose a few trusted sources. They ignore the rest. This applies to business decisions as well. Too many inputs create paralysis. Clarity comes from reflection, not constant consumption. As we move forward, let's talk about legacy thinking. Even if you're just starting, think about what you're building. Is it something that can last? Something that helps others? Something you'd be proud of in 10 years? Legacy doesn't mean size, it means impact. A small business that improves lives is more meaningful than a large one built on emptiness. And here's something important. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to start with intention. Direction matters more than speed. If you've stayed with me this far, it tells me you're not looking for shortcuts. You're looking for understanding. And that mindset alone puts you ahead of most people. If this message resonates with you, share this video with someone who is thinking about starting a business in 2026. Conversations like this matter more when they reshared. In the final part, we're going to bring everything together. We'll talk about decision-making, long-term execution, and how to move forward with confidence instead of fear. Because the future doesn't belong to the smartest. It belongs to the most prepared. At this point, you've probably realized something important. There is no single perfect business idea for 2026. There's only alignment. Alignment between the world you re-stepping into and the kind of person you re-willing to become. Businesses don't succeed in isolation. They succeed because people grow into the version of themselves that can handle responsibility, uncertainty, and patience. The biggest advantage you can build right now is not speed. It's clarity, knowing why you're starting, knowing what you're solving, knowing who you're helping. When clarity is strong, decisions become easier. You stop jumping from idea to idea. You stop chasing noise. You start building something real. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is moving from a consumer mindset to a builder mindset. Consumers wait for permission. Builders create paths. Consumers ask, is this safe? Builders ask, is this worth learning from? In 2026, builders will quietly shape the economy while consumers react to it. You don't need to be fearless to move forward. Fear is part of the process. Every serious business owner feels it. The difference is that they don't let fear decide for them. They let values decide. They let long-term thinking decide. They let discipline decide. And here's something most people don't hear enough. Progress is not linear. Some months will feel slow. Some efforts won't work. Some ideas will need to be adjusted. This is not failure. This is feedback. The market doesn't reject you. It teaches you. If you treat every setback as information instead of an identity, you become hard to stop. In 2026, the businesses that last will be built by people who understand one simple truth. Success is boring most of the time. It's daily execution. Repeating small actions. Improving quietly. Showing up even when no one is watching. This is why so many people quit right before things start working. They mistake boredom for failure. But boredom often means you're doing the right thing long enough for results to compound. Think about where you want to be 3 years from now. Not just financially, but mentally. Do you want control over your time? Do you want predictable income? Do you want to build something that reflects your values? Businesses are tools. They should serve your life, not consume it. Money is important, but it's not the only metric. Freedom matters, peace of mind matters, the ability to choose matters. Money Spectrum exists to help you think clearly about these things, not to push hype, not to sell fantasies, but to give you frameworks that actually work in the real world. As we wrap this up, let me give you a simple next step. Choose one idea that aligns with your skills and the problems you see around you. Don't overthink it. Commit to learning through action for the next 90 days. Not perfection, not scale. Just progress. Document what you learn. Pay attention to feedback. Adjust without quitting. And remember, you don't need validation from everyone. You only need results that support your life. If this video helped you see business differently, I'd really love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me which business idea for 2026 made you think the most, or what you're considering starting. Your comment helps this community grow, and it helps others learn from your perspective. Also, if you know someone who's confused about business or money right now, share this video with them. Sometimes the right idea at the right time can change someone's entire direction. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to Money Spectrum. More honest conversations about money, business, and long-term thinking are coming, and you don't want to miss them. The future is not something to fear. It's something to prepare for. And the best time to start is now.